Well, hello and how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the Shen Show. I am your host, Shenandoah Briscoe, coming to you from right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Today is Sunday. So it's Sunday, April the 24th, 2022. Got some happy birthday shout outs going out to David Krudwig, Marjorie Runnoe, Bev Evans, and her mother. Not sure what her mother's name is, but she'll get the gist. So, without further ado, here's a birthday shout out for the four of you. Hey, Mom. Hey, Bev. Hey, Marjorie. Hey, David. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. So happy birthday, I must say. You know, you're 1 more year older today, so a happy birthday to you, I say. I said, hey, David. Hey, Marjorie. Hey, Bev. Hey, Mom. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. That's another trip around the sun that you made. I hope you're enjoying your special day because, well, it's your happy birthday day today. Hey. You know what? I forgot a birthday. There's another birthday in there. Birthday shout out going out to Lisa Foster's daddy. That's right. Lisa Foster's daddy. And so we got to say, hey, Dad. Hey, I heard it's your birthday today. So that's another year passed away. I'm hoping you're enjoying your special day because, brother, it's your happy birthday a day today. I said, hey, lad, hey, Dad, hey. I heard it's your birthday today. Why, that's another trip around the sun that you made. So I hope you're enjoying your special day because, brother, it's Lisa Foster Daddy's birthday today. I said it's Lisa Foster's daddy's birthday today. Hey. All right. There we go. That's it. That's all of them. And now we got some Shen Show likes. Shen Show likes for Savann Murphy Beason. Yeah, Bill Rogers, Martin Kelly, a.k.a. Smiley Pokey Pals. Yep, those are my Shen Show likes. Those are the folks that love, like, and or just care about the Shen Show. And then how about my Pokey Pal gals? I got Julie Regot and Amanda S. Little. And those are the Shin Show shout outs for today. We're expecting some folks to jump on the show here in a moment. Probably. We might get Lisa to tune in, drop a line. And who else we got out there that likes to drop in? Rachel. We could get Rachel out here and Lori and possibly Smiley will jump on. And could be what you call it? What is his name? Family Guy, um, Family Guy host, Family Guy Junior, Family Guy somebody. I remember he jumped on here at least once. So, uh, Family Guy. Not sure who it is. So anyway, I remember he did jump on here one time, and we had some combo. So there you go. So we're expecting somebody to jump on here sooner or later. Uh, Today being Sundays, looks like we should bring up your weather forecast for you. And the weather forecast today is going to be brought to you by Sunday Place, my church, which is a Refreshing Word Fellowship. Refreshing Word Fellowship is a non denominational Christian church which is located at 2054 Campus Drive right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Yep, that's right, 2054 Campus Drive, St. Charles, Missouri. So if you'd like to come out to a wonderful Christian based fellowship church, why, come on out to uh, uh, I just forgot the name of my church. And I've been saying it for how many years now? Let's see, 2 years, 3 years. Refreshing Word Fellowship. Ja. Okay, there you go. Now, how old do I look? Now, how old do I feel? Now, how old was that moment? Anyway, Refreshing Word Fellowship Church. Come on out on Sundays, which was today, and to our 11 a.m. Services. and catch some beautiful music, acoustic guitar and bass guitar and electric guitar and a drum set. And we're gonna have us a piano player here shortly. I'm not sure whether she showed up this week or whether she's going to be there. I didn't quite make it today, but that's quite all right. We're understanding. God knows. God knows that I was there in spirit. All right, all the time, all day, all the time. God's with me, and I'm with Him. Anyway, hey, here's that weather forecast for you. Oh, by the way, you can also catch a Thursday night at Thursday afternoon at Refreshing Word Fellowship from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Each and every Thursday, there is an hour of power prayer. So stop on in again. And or if you'd like to go to the Bible study, or not go to, participate in the Bible study, it starts at 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights it's a Zoomer, and I will always leave the link on Wednesdays for the Zoom link for the uh, refreshing word, uh, uh, refreshing word fellowship. So there you go. All right, for the refreshing word fellowship Bible study. Okay, let's see. We're gonna have a 5-day forecast for you. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5-day forecast for you. And we're not going to start with today. Today's just already here. Well, we'll follow it up with 5 days from today, after today. And so we're going to start with Sunday. And we're going to say, hey, today's skies, it's cloudy. Looks kind of cloudy out there, overcasted. Slight chances of rain, showers, and with high temperatures of 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be west to southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then cloudy with periods of rain overnight with low temperatures of 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be west to northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chances of rain 90% and rainfall near a half inch. And then for Monday, April the 25th, cloudy skies early will becoming partly cloudy later in the day. High temperatures of 63 degrees Fahrenheit with winds northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Clear to partly cloudy skies, with low temperatures near 39 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. Winds will be north to northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then for Tuesday, April the 26th, we're going to have mainly sunny skies with high temperatures of 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be north to northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight with low temperatures around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be west to southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for Wednesday, April the 27th, mainly sunny skies with high temperatures of 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies during the evening will give way to cloudy skies overnight. Low temperatures of 49 degrees Fahrenheit with winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then for Thursday, April the 28th, cloudy in the morning, then off and on again, rain showers during the afternoon hours, and then high temperatures of 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be south to southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chances of rain 40%. Cloudy with showers and low temperatures around 55 degrees Fahrenheit overnight. Winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chances of rain 50%. And then for your fifth and final day of our 5-day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. Rain showers early with isolated thunderstorms developing later in the day. High temperatures of 74 degrees Fahrenheit with winds southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chances of rain 50%. Scattered thunderstorms during the evening, becoming more widespread overnight. Low temperatures of 60 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds south to southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chances of rain 70%. And that, my friends, is your 5-day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. I didn't want to put you all to sleep with the low profile voice and low profile weather forecast. And so I had to liven it up there at the end. Just a wakey, eggs and bakey, trying to get up and start your day, even if it is in the afternoon time. Afternoon time. Well, let's see. We got a season for the reason. Yes, we do. We got a season for the reason. Yes, we do. Oh, where my father is, I'll be. Once I leave this earth, you see, all my riches are stored with He up in heaven. That's where I'm planning to be. Oh, oh, oh. I said, Heaven, help us, let us go all the way there. Don't you know? Each and every soul can go as long as you accept Jesus that died for me. As long as you accept Jesus who died for me. He died for you too, don't you know? All right. Hey, that's a new write-up. New song just came out. It's one of them up and rare performing artists that just came out today. Uh, Quad in a chair. That's the group. That's the artist and the group. Quad in a chair. That would be yes. It's an original, folks. All right. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Well, the Helping Hands thrift store and foster care closet has got a Facebook page over there on Facebook, and they have a group page. And if you join into the group site, you put your name in automatically for a drawing. Now, this drawing could get you up to $25 worth of free purchases, free goods from thrift Helping Hands thrift store and foster care closet. So they're located at South Fifth Street. That's 416 South Fifth Street, that is. And so you might want to go on down, stop on in, put your name on the back of your receipt, and join the Helping Hands thrift store and foster care closet Facebook page. Also, that's for sharing information. If you share information, you can get you're picked out of a jar. You get yourself picked out of a jar because they like to see that information shared all over the place, all over town, so that people know them world renowned. As a matter of fact, that's one of the problems because they do get people wanting to donate items from out of state all the time, and that's one of those things. It's hard for you to understand where they are if they're on Facebook. It's hard to find out where most places are on Facebook. I've got the other sponsor for things that go on around town, which would be seasonal wreaths by Jamie. She's local, and she also gets orders from out of town. Now she can send her stuff out, but to have donations brought in to for the resale store, that's kind of difficult if it's a washer and dryer or a bed pedestal or something of that nature. It doesn't come in very easy with shipping and handling will kill you on the on the free, whatchamacallit, the free donation that you're trying to accomplish. So anyway, hey, weather forecast. We already done the weather forecast. How about the local event for the St. Charles area? The art thingy is still going on. They've got an anime St. Louis going on over at the convention center. So that's always nice to know if you're into anime. Uh, it's the 22nd through the 24th. So today's the last day to catch the anime, and they will be there till 5 p.m. today. So you got about 2 hours to get over there and enjoy. And then let's see what else we got on the art Con Air art thing. Con Air Augusta's Plein Air Art Festival will be going on through April 30th. From now through April 30th, reoccurring daily. And I'm not sure how long they stay open over there. Seems like seemingly all day long, so that they can catch lighting of the best and the worst of lighting, so that they can, each one of them takes their own aspect on what they want to paint and how it's going to look to them. And it's all in the artist's eye. And whichever artist you enjoy the most, you may make purchases of their easel work right there on site, or you can wait until they set it over to the hall for display at the Harmony of Berlin of American Legion Hall for viewing art and or purchases daily. So anyway, that's in Augusta, Missouri, 5577 Walnut Street, Augusta, Missouri. What else going on here in St. Charles, Missouri? We're going to start the whatchamacallit today. It started down on Main Street, History and Harmony. Well, they've got it going on Sundays. I'm not real sure, but it's the last 2 Sundays of each and every month. And apparently we got it on the 24th, and next month it's going to be on the 22nd and the 29th. So, yep, last 2 Sundays of the month. And then, let's see, this is April next month, May on the 29th and 19th. What? Oh, 22nd and 29th in May, and then in June on the 19th and 26th. So, the last 2 Sundays of the month, Main Street, St. Charles, 2030 South Main. So that makes all those businesses open during on Sunday. So, take that into consideration when you go down there and do your purchasing and discover discounts of Main Street as a rotating lineup of guest musicians provide their perfect soundtrack for a stroll through the historic district, nestled throughout the area's quaint scenery. So there you have it. And let's see what else we got going on here in St. Charles area. Hello. There's that. Okay. History and Harmony. And then we have also got on the 29th an evening with the Ambassadors of Harmony at the Foundry Arts Center. And then St. Charles Convention Center is going to be hosting the North American Reptile Breeders Conference on May the 1st, daily until May 1st. And that will start from April 30th through May 1st, reoccurring daily. And then the Beale Street Concert Series, that's free, starting May 4th. And it will be will be, where's it saying? Wednesday. That's right, the first Wednesday of each and every month, May through September, from 5 to 8 p.m. Beale Street Concert Series. Grab your friends and family and come check out the unique arts. That's not the concert. That's the farmers market. Homegrown foods, and vendors that they have to offer. Unique arts and homegrown foods our vendors have to offer. And that's the streets of St. Charles, Beale Street Farmers Market. There you go. Sorry about that. I was sitting there calling it the concert, which it's not concert yet. Concert, though. We'll get to Papa Pig's. Papa Pig's adventure is going to be taking place on May the 5th over at the Family Arena. And then Main Street in Bloom, reoccurring daily from May 7th through May 8th, down on Main Street here in St. Charles. Hours are going to be from, time 10 a.m. Saturday to 12 p.m. Sunday. So 10 a.m. on Saturday and noon on Sunday, reoccurring daily. Celebrate spring on Main Street here in St. Charles, Missouri. That's right, celebrating springtime. So come on down to Main Street and check out all the flower arrangements and beautiful things that are being put together for your springtime enjoyment on Main here in St. Charles. There's that Beale Street concert series. Beale Street concert series will be May the 11th. And that will be that didn't work. May the 11th, and that would be the second Wednesday of each and every month, May through October. So that'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. concerts each and every month on the second Wednesday of each and every month, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Beale Street in the streets of St. Charles Complex, 1650 Beale Street, St. Charles, Missouri. To the right of the Ramada, down there on 5th Street. Come on down. This first concert is going to be Super Jam. So come on down and enjoy the music of Super Jam on the Beale Street concert series. And then let's see what else we got going on here. May the 12th, Geekway to the west. That's right, the Geekway to the west. Reoccurring daily from May the 12th through May 15th, 2022 at the St. Charles Convention Center. And then Midwest Manifest in Newtown. And they're going to have the Midwest Manifest, which is a celebration to spring, on May 15th, 2022 at the Newtown Amphitheater, which is at 3504 Rue Royale Street in St. Charles, streets of St. Charles, Missouri, 63301. Celebrating the arrival of spring and the rich German heritage in St. Charles County. The festivities will include product samples from local craft breweries and wineries and spirit distilleries, food and local craft vendors, live German entertainment. So come on down. The purchase of a wristband for age folks 21 and up provide you with a souvenir sample cup and product samples throughout the festival. Food trucks purchases are separate from the wristband. And then for the last event of the what we'll be talking about today would be the food truck event at Blanchette Park on May 17th. That's always a fun time. Come on down to Blanchette Park, or over to Blanchette Park, I say, May 17th, 2022. Usually it's down at the riverfront, but I think they've been moving up to Blanchette Park due to the fact that the riverfront might get some water these days down during that point in time of the month. So we do get an awful lot of rain in May. And so That's what we got to worry about. Blanchette Park is located at 1900 West Randolph Road Street, West Randolph Street here in St. Charles, Missouri, 63301. Come on down from over from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just remember, don't bring your power chair down the Bums Hollow area because, well, you may or may not make it all the way down. Join us at Blanchette Park for this food truck event. Enjoy live entertainment as you indulge in a variety of delicious food options that will be available by several different food truck vendors. Bring your family and friends out for a relaxing evening in the park. Please keep in mind that some of these trucks at the food event may be cash only. In addition, it is recommended that you bring your own lawn chair or blanket. Notice none of these events are calling for masks, and so therefore we're a mask-free environment. Thank you so very much here in the St. Charles area. Alrighty, hey, looks like we don't have anybody from ringing in or chatting today, and so we're going to go ahead and do the story time with TV Grandpa. That's right, TV Grandpa is on call, ready to do story time. Bedtime stories for the kids. That's right, bedtime stories for all you youngsters and all you adults too that would like to learn a little bit more about the Bible. The easiest way to learn these things is due to the fact that it's so much easier to learn through a children's story than it is through just reading the Bible by yourself. I mean, I'm sure that you can get the information through the Bible, but children's stories are so much simpler and easier to gain, uh, gain the knowledge that is on there. I'm really sorry because all they have for children's stories basically is, Bible stories is Church and Manners, Creation, Daniel and the Lion's Den, David and Goliath. Um, are there any more stories down below? Esther the Queen, we can do that. There's Elijah's Prayer. And let's do Esther the Queen. We'll do that today. Here we go. Please don't make me go there. Okay, now this is the simple one. I think you know what? I think I want to do the other one. The easy. Oh, I bent my finger thumb backwards. Okay. Sorry. Please don't make me go. Okay, hey kids, it's TV Grandpa time, and today we're going to tell you the story of Esther. And it's not a short story, so dig in for the long haul. That's right, put up your blankets and wrap them up tight around you, because we're gonna get her did. This here's TV Grandpa saying, jump up on the couch or jump up on the bed, wherever it is you rest your sleepy head, because, well, it's time for story time with TV Grandpa. So here we go. I love you so much and be ready to sleep. Relax, babies, relax. Don't make me go, begged Esther. You must, Esther. Every girl in the kingdom to enter. Every girl in the kingdom is to enter by order of the king. Her cousin Mordecai explained. Well, Esther's parents had died when she was young, and he raised her ever since. Well, Esther crossed her arms and she said, I am happy where I am. I certainly do not want to be a queen. Besides, I'm Jewish, and the king isn't. There are lots of Persian girls entering the beauty contest. They just don't need. There are lots of pretty girls entering the beauty contest. They just don't need me. Well, you have to enter, and that's final. Besides, there are so many girls in entering, you likely won't be chosen anyways, Mordecai assured her. And when you go, I don't want to hear about you pouting. I know what a lovely person you are, and I want to make sure that you stay that way. The girl smiled and she hugged the man, unable to refuse him for long. All right, Mordecai, for you, I will go cheerfully. Well, Mordecai smiled gratefully and then frowned slightly. Esther, wait. There is one last thing that you must promise me. Yes, sir, said Esther, which was not her real name, but it was already changed for this particular thing. Somewhat, somewhat, uh, yes, said Esther, somewhat concerned by the serious look on Mordecai had taken. You must not let anyone know that you are a Jew. Do you understand? And Esther, uh, she nodded sadly. Yes, I understand. When Esther was falling asleep that night, she began to think about what it would be like at the palace. She'd have to spend an entire year there away from family and friends before the king would even choose his new bride. Ah, well, she thought, at least I'll get to return home after that. After all, there's no way the king would end up picking a peasant Jewish girl as his queen, no matter how lovely people thought she was. Esther shivered. Even the thought of it was a warm, uh, even though that it was a warm evening. The next morning, Esther packed her bags, and she was happy that her cousin would be able to visit her quite often as he worked at the palace as a minor official. Well, Esther carefully combed her long dark hair and gazed longingly out the window, and she'd missed the sights and sounds of her home, and she wanted to commit every little detail to memory. Well, Mordecai walked by, stopped, and turned back. You look so thoughtful, Esther, he said with a smile. And Esther nodded. I hope I'm not chosen to be queen. I prayed all last night that God would make the king choose someone else. Esther, Mordecai, Mordecai cried, you must pray only for what you want. You mustn't pray for only what you want, but what God wants for you. Esther looked confused, and Mordecai smiled gently. Sometimes we forget how young she still was. What I mean is, he began again, that God may not always give us what we want, but he does provide us with everything we need. You can't just ask for what you want all the time because it might not be what God wants. And so you must ask for what God wants. Well, Esther thought a second and she responded slowly, but I don't know what God wants. How can I pray for something I don't know? Mordecai said, well, you could simply pray, God, I want whatever you want, and I put my trust in you. Do you understand? I think so. Does that mean instead of saying, God, please don't let the king choose for me his queen, I am to say, God, if you want me to be queen, then I will be happy with your decision. Please help me do my best to be a good queen. Good one? Esther asked. Mordecai smiled and he kissed Esther on the forehead. That sounds perfect. Well, the year passed quickly, but Esther missed her home every day. And just as she had promised Mordecai, she did her best to remain cheerful and kind. And every night she prayed that God would help her do his will. Esther didn't like the way some of the other girls teased each other, and tried to be kind to everyone she met. She'd been placed in the care of a man named Haggai because of her gentle nature. Well, Esther became friends with him, and Haggai placed Esther and her servants in the best room in the palace, and they brought her small gifts. Well, 12 months passed, and it was time for Esther to go see the king. As Haggai led the beautiful girl to the king's palace, people stopped to stare at Esther's gentle beauty. Esther, do not be afraid of the king, Haggai said to her as they neared the throne room. And when they had reached the throne room, Esther took a deep breath and she knelt before King Xerxes. Dear God, she prayed silently, give me the strength to do your will. While the king gazed down at Esther. My goodness, he thought, this one is young. She's very beautiful, but I don't know. It was at that moment that Esther finished her silent prayer. Without thinking, she raised her head, something she shouldn't really have done without the king's permission. But it was her habit when she finished her prayers. Well, the look on her face was so sincere. It increased her beauty tenfold, and the king's heart was hers. He broke into a wide smile, happy that he'd finally found his bride. What is your name? Esther realized her error, bowed her head, and looked at the floor. Esther, my lord. Well, Esther, it's all right. You can look up now, said the king. She looked up at his smiling face and blushed slightly, which pleased him too. You have a beauty beyond all beauty, beauty of the flesh and of the heart, he exclaimed. King Xerxes beckoned to Haggai. This woman, Haggai, shall be my queen. You have cared for her well, and her beauty surpasses all others, inside and out. Thank you. Haggai nodded and said, you are most welcome, great king. I am honored to be in the service of you. Xerxes then called for a servant to bring Queen Vashti's old crown. He took it and he placed it gently on Esther's head. You, Esther, are now my queen. Mordecai sighed and learned again. Mordecai sighed and leaned against the inside wall of the castle. He missed Esther, but was happy to be able to see her almost every day. He was saddened that she had to hide the fact that she was a Jew from the king. It was all so dangerous for her, and she was so young. What if? Mordecai shook his head. It is not good to think of such things. He thought to himself, Esther will be fine. Low voices close by startled him out of his reverie. Uh, no, that's too long to wait in far too public a place, said another voice. It is best to do it while he is sleeping. Perhaps we could bribe one of the servants. Mordecai peeked around the corner and he saw the men standing there. His eyes widened when he recognized two of the king's men, Begathan and Teresh. He flattened himself against the wall for fear of being seen and continued to listen as they finalized their plot to kill King Xerxes in his sleep the following night. So as soon as it was safe, Mordecai rushed to see Esther. Mordecai, you must have misheard. Begathan and Teresh are the king's men. Why in the world would they want to do something like that? Esther argued. I know it sounds impossible, but it is what I heard. You must warn the king right away, Mordecai urged. Well, Esther frowned. But what if we're, we're wrong, and the king will think I am foolish, a foolish young girl, and an overactive imagination. Well, Mordecai thought for a moment. Well, perhaps, he said thoughtfully, but won't you risk looking a fool to save his life? Esther nodded. You're right, Mordecai. I will tell him immediately. Well, when Mordecai had left, Esther hurried through the outer garden towards the palace courts. Reaching the king's throne room, Esther adjusted her crown and smoothed her skirts. This was important business, and she walked in quietly but quickly and made her way to King Ahasuerus' throne. Esther bowed, and the king took her hand. What is it, my queen? He asked. Esther rose, and she said, Teresh and Begathan are plotting to kill you, my lord. The king frowned. How do you know this, Esther? Mordecai, my cousin, heard them talking at the gate. They plan to bribe your servant and kill you tomorrow night while you sleep. Well, the king leaned forward, and he asked, Are you sure of this? Yes, your majesty, Esther replied solemnly. Well, King Ahasuerus then called over several guards and told them what Esther had said. The guards were immediately dispatched to find the servant, who fearfully confirmed Esther's story. He didn't think it too wise to lie to the king when questioned directly about the plot. Thank you, Esther. You have saved my life, King Ahasuerus said, looking at Esther with a smile. Returning his smile, she said, You're welcome, but it is really Mordecai's doing, sir. Please give him my thanks, and thank you for coming to me without delay. You are welcome, your majesty. Esther bowed and left quietly. Meanwhile, Mordecai sat outside the palace gates, watching the people run around, doing their various activities. Just then, a loud trumpet was blown. Mordecai looked down the road to see several men carrying another man in a tall chair. It was Haman, a court official. Mordecai frowned. Haman always made people bow down to him, but Mordecai never did. He bowed before God and no other. And when Haman passed him by, Mordecai sat quietly, only looking at the ground. Soon he looked up again when he heard the other man pass by. Haman was furious. Mordecai's refusal to bow made him furious. Didn't he know how important Haman was? Well, I'll get rid of him. Then, Haman thought, and with a wicked grin on his face. Better yet, he's a Jew, a miserable lot. I'll get rid of every one of them. He chuckled at the thought as he eh, and, and at the thought as he made his way towards the palace. They always throw extra words in here. Well, he marched into the throne room and bowed with a flourish. Your Majesty, he said importantly, it has come to my attention that there is a group of people in this land that do not respect you or your laws. They are a bad example for the other subjects and must be dealt with before they begin to plot against you and cause discontent throughout the entire kingdom. Well, who are these people? King Ahasuerus demanded. Haman bowed low and he said, My lord, they are the Jews. Well, King Ahasuerus was infuriated at the thought that there was another plot of some sort brewing in the kingdom. Perhaps it was these Jews who had turned Teresh and Begathan against him. Haman could see that he had the king's attention and quickly added, Your Majesty, I have a plan to get rid of them. Well, go to sleep. Well, the king nodded, and taking his signet ring off his finger, handed it to Hammond. Do with the people as you wish, he said solemnly. Well, Hammond bowed and scurried quickly out of the room. Ha ha, he chuckled with glee. I have got that Mordecai now. He'll wish he had kissed my very feet. Hammond immediately issued a decree that every Jew in the land would be put to death on the 13th day of the 12th month. When the news reached Mordecai, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and went out into the city, wailing loudly in every place to which the decree of the king came. There was great mourning among the Jews, with fasting, weeping, and wailing. Many lay on sackcloth and ashes. Esther soon heard the mourning and crying outside the palace, and sent two servants to find out what was going on. And when the servants came back, they had a message from Mordecai. Queen Esther, Mordecai says that King Ahasuerus has signed a decree that says every Jew must die on the 13th day of the 12th month. Said Ahasuerus, he wants you to go to the king and get him to change the law. The other man said, well, Esther put on her hands on her head and began pacing back and forth. But it's been 30 days since I was last called by the king. And if I go to his throne room without being asked to, it will be me who is put to death. Esther awoke from her sleep that night with a start. Perhaps God wanted me to become queen, to stop the Jews from being put to death. Why else had she been chosen queen? Well, the next morning, Esther said to her servant, go now and tell Mordecai to get all the Jews together and fast for me, and do not eat or drink for 3 days. I too will fast, and when it is done, I will go before the king, even though it may mean my death. Well, Esther leaned against the door outside the throne room and sighed heavily. This was going to be even harder than she had thought. She was weak from her fast and very scared at the prospect of the king's wrath. But she pushed her hair out of her face and she took a deep breath. The king looked up angrily. He hadn't invited anyone to come to the throne room that morning. And why couldn't people understand how much work it was to run a kingdom? How dare they interrupt? And why would he? But he softened as soon as he saw that it was Esther's beautiful face, and he could see how scared she was, and she seemed quite a bit paler than usual. A broad smile spread across the king's face. Esther almost fainted with relief when she saw the king would forgive her for her interruption. What is this that you wish, Queen Esther? Whatever you want, you will get it, even if it is half of my kingdom. Well, King Ahasuerus had said that with a welcoming smile. Esther swallowed and said in a rush, my lord, if it pleases the king, would you and Hammond come to a banquet I have prepared for you both today? Well, King Ahasuerus smiled, widened even further, and pretty, why the pretty young thing missed me, yes, it has been some time since he'd seen her. And the king turned to his aides and he said, tell Hammond to hurry and get ready, that he may do as Esther has said. And so the king and Hammond came to Esther's banquet. King Ahasuerus knew Esther wanted to ask some sort of a favor of him, and so he asked her again what it was. My queen, What is it that you wish for? I will give it to you, even if it is up to half of my kingdom. Well, Esther, she answered, please come with Haman to another banquet that I shall prepare for you tomorrow. Then I will tell you what it is that I want. Well, Haman was proud that he had been invited to both banquets, he and no one but the king. But as he was leaving the palace, he paused and he passed Mordecai outside the gates. And not only did Mordecai refuse to bow, but he didn't even stand up when Haman passed. And when Haman returned home, he was absolutely fuming. He paced back and forth, complaining bitterly about the nerve of Mordecai the Jew, and how dare he not show Haman more respect. Then Haman's wife made a suggestion. Make a gallows 70 feet high, and tomorrow ask the king for permission to hang the man. Then you'll be able to enjoy the queen's banquet in person or in peace. Well, Haman was so pleased with this suggestion that he had the gallows made that very evening. Well, that night, the king could not sleep. He called to his servants to bring him the history book telling of the most important events of his reign. As the servant read to the king, he noticed the items about how Mordecai had saved his life, and for he had been the one to tell him about the plot through Esther. Stop, wait a minute, King Ahasuerus had commanded. How has Mordecai been rewarded for this? My lord, I don't believe anything has been done for him. They replied to the king. The next day, Haman went to see the king to ask permission to hang Mordecai, not knowing that Mordecai had once saved the king's life. Hearing some whispering in the outer court, the king asked, who is there? Haman is here, replied the servants. Let him come in, said King Ahasuerus. And when the king saw Haman, he immediately asked, Haman, what should be done to the man I want to honor? Then Haman smiled, thinking selfishly, why, of course, the only man King Ahasuerus could be talking about is me. And so he answered, send the king's robe, the king's horse, and the king's crown to one of the king's most noble princes, and let them dress the man in your robes, put your crown upon his head, and lead him through the city on your horse, proclaiming to all the people, see how this man is honored by the king. See how this man is honored by the king. Well, then, King Ahasuerus smiled with much pleasure. I knew you'd have a good idea, Haman. Now hurry and take these robes of mine, get my personal horse, and do as you have said to one Mordecai the Jew that sits at my gate. Do not fail to do one thing of all that you have said. Haman did his best to hide how shocked and angry he was at the king's command, but it wasn't easy. The, the very man he wanted to hang was going to be honored by the king with all these things he himself had suggested. Well, Haman reluctantly dressed Mordecai up in the king's robes and gown, and threw on his crown, and then led him through the city on the king's personal horse, shouting, this is the man the king and being honored greatly by the king. This is the man being honored greatly by the king. Afterwards, Mordecai returned to his post at the gates, and Haman hurried home in despair. He poured out the story of how the king honored Mordecai over him at his very suggestion, and he cried bitterly. His wife and his friends could do nothing to comfort him. Well, while they were still talking, a few of the king's messengers came to the door. We are coming to bring Haman at once to the banquet Queen Esther has prepared. Haman hastily straightened his hair and, dra- and dared not let on that truly he was truly feeling. Well, Haman met the king at the palace, and together they headed for the second banquet with Esther, the queen. What is that you want, my queen? What is your request? Whatever it is, I will give it to you, even if you desire half of my kingdom, the king repeated when everyone had seated. If the king is pleased with me, I request that the king will save my life and the life of all the Jews. We face death soon. I and my people are to be killed. Every one of us must die. King Ezra became very angry. Who would dare touch you or any of your relatives? Esther looked directly at Haman and pointed. This wicked Haman uh, is our enemy. Haman was so eaten up with envy, he tried to destroy an entire people just to get at one man, Mordecai, the Jew. Now Haman turned white as a ghost with fright. The king got up from his seat and he stormed out from the room uh, into the palace garden. And as soon as the king went out the door, Haman quickly left his seat and he went over to Queen Esther, begging for his life desperately. He knew the king was ready to have him slain for the evil he had planned to carry out on the Jews. By the time the king returned, Haman had thrown himself upon the queen, begging for mercy. Seeing this, the king yelled, and servants came running to hold Haman back from the queen. Why not hang him on the gallows he has built for Mordecai? Someone suggested. The king sat back at the table and nodded. Yes, yes, he spoke with authority. Hang him there. And that is why Haman died. For in the end, Haman's jealousy cost him his life. He was hung on the gallows that he had built for Mordecai. Peace was restored in the kingdom, and Esther and her people were safe because Esther was willing to go before the king, even if it had cost her her life, because she trusted in God and because God had put her in that particular place where she belonged. In so that was the Bible. That was the TV Grandpa portion of the program. Now it's time for the Daily Bread portion of the program. Daily Bread portion of the program is going to be brought to you today by the Bible with Briscoe 2022. The Bible with Briscoe 2022 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading in the Bible with Briscoe 2022 is 2 Samuel 19 through 20 and Luke 18 1 through 23. So don't forget to tune into the Bible with Briscoe 2022 for your daily reading of the Bible. All right, let's see. Daily bread portion of the Bible, or the daily bread portion of the program, feeling dusty. That's right, feeling dusty. Well, let's see. We're going to be reading today's scripture and insight for the devotion, which will be Psalm 103, 13 through 19. So here we go. Psalm 103, 13 through 19. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. For he knows how we are formed. He remembered that we were all dust. The life of mortals is like grass that flourishes like a flower of the field. The wind blows over it and it is gone, and its place remembers it no more. But from everlasting to everlasting, the Lord's love is with those who fear him, and his righteousness with their children's children, with those who keep his covenant and remember to obey his precepts. The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom rules over all. And that is feeling dusty. That's right, we're feeling dusty each and every day because from dust we came, and dust we shall return. That's why we should feel dusty. Okay, that was the Daily Bread portion of the program, which was brought to you today by The Bible with Briscoe 2022. The Bible with Briscoe 2022 is the daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Do not forget to tune into the Bible with Briscoe 2022 for your daily reading of the Bible. All right, my friends. Hey, that looks like it. That's the end of the Shen Show in the nutshell. So here we go with a final song. It goes something like this. Oh, well, goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I said goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. All righty, my friends. Hey, that's it. That's all. That's the love of the show. God bless you all, and come back and this here's been, here we go. This here's been Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? Thanks for tuning in to the Shen Show. And as always, you know, God loves you and so do I. So come back and see us tomorrow because, well, hey, sure shooting we'll be here and we hope that you are too.